video recorder has apparently died on me, the recording capabilities. I'm testing this to see how the volume will come out. So what I want to do today is I want to show you guys how I make a basic liquid laundry detergent. And if all goes well, you can hear me and it's clear and it's not staticky, we'll have a great video. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and get started and tell you what I have here. Right here in my stainless steel pot, I have canola oil and coconut oil. Just a basic recipe, and these are typically things you'll find in your home. And then right here is what I have is my potassium hydroxide. Potassium hydroxide. This is used for liquid soap making. Okay, and in here what I have is my water that I'm going to pour my lye into. So, and I don't know if you guys can see this, but I have added you can't see that well, but I have added some old hard soap shredding that I made. This is supposed to allow it to trace faster. So I've tested this before, and to me it does help as far as the tracing is concerned with liquid soap. And what I'm heating this on is a little 2-burner hot plate that I got from one of the local stores. So I'm adding my potassium hydroxide. You can add it slowly or you can add it fast. I'm next to a window. I'm adding it fast. The fumes I do have on a mask, so the fumes, you do need that. And as you can see, I have on long rubber gloves and I have on long sleeves. So that's mixed. And you guys, making liquid soap is pretty easy. The steps are the same as making a bar soap, with the exception, the beginning steps, with the exception of using potassium hydroxide. Now, what you would normally look for is that your lye water would run clear, but mine is not going to run clear simply because I have the soap shavings in there and it's showing a little bit of milkiness, which is fine for me. And it looks like everything is mixed up properly, or should I say good enough. So what I'm doing is I'm pouring my lye water into my oils and making sure everything goes in. Another good thing to do is test the temperature of your oils. I already tested my temperatures of my oils and they were at 198 degrees, which is just about right. So if you can see in the pot, that's my lye solution along with my oils. It's a little bit creamy and white, which is fine. So I'll stir that up a little bit. It's going to take a minute to bring this to trace, so I won't bore you with that. What I'll do is bring you back once I have everything already mixed in. So bear with me. I'll bring you back. Okay, I just want to bring you guys back real for a quick second, and I just want to show you. I don't know if you can see in there. I have a few bubbles, but that solution there, it looks like curd. You know, maybe if you have buttermilk or something like that. It's on the bottom and it's still quite watery. So you would want to still blend this. And with making liquid soap, it can take quite a while to bring it to trace. This is the thought process behind using the shreds of solid bar to help it come to trace. So I've only been blending this for about 3 minutes, but I just wanted to show you if you can see what it looks like in there. So I'll continue to stir. You'll go through a couple of phases, but I'll continue to stir. And if I feel like a certain point is important to you, I'll just come back and show you that point. But I just want you to see how it is after about 3 minutes, and that is using a stick blender. And you want to have a couple of these, or go back and forth with a stick blender or a spoon, because your blender could get very hot while trying to blend this and get it to come to trace. So I'll be back shortly to show you some updates. Okay, this is something else I want to show you, is how extremely hot this has gotten and it started to boil over. This is important why you don't want to leave your liquid soap. So what I did is I took it off the burner that is on, and put it on the burner that's not on, and I'm stirring it down. So that's one thing that'll happen when making liquid soap, because it gets so hot. So you just want to get that down and make sure that it goes down, because it can bubble up. If you can see the rims where it was almost up to here and it's still rising, you want to watch this. I mean, really, really watch this. And I'm stirring like a mad woman to keep this down. And that's what you'll have to do. You have to stir it like a mad person. So I'm going to turn off my camera so I can go ahead and get this down and make sure it doesn't bubble over. So I'll come back to you. Okay, I'm back. I was able to stir it down, and as you can see, it has gotten very, very hard. It went from that loose, liquidy state to now being very firm that my stick blender could just sit up in it without a problem. Okay, now I took my temperature, and my temperature said 217 degrees. That's just about right. You really don't want it to go too much over 200, but that's fine. I've taken it off the heat source for now, and I'm just going to let it sit here while I scrape the sides and get everything off my stick blender. Now, the most important part now is just letting it cook. I'll probably let it cook and check on it every 15 minutes, maybe every 5-10 minutes, but I'm not going to leave the room so that it does not boil over, because even though I'm not stirring it, it can still get too hot and boil over, which I had it do last time. So again, I'll bring it back. I'm going to clean off my stick blender. As you can see, it really has a lot on it. And another thing that you'll see is as it starts to cook, it becomes translucent. You can see the outside part is a little bit translucent, and the inside, when I take the stick off, is still kind of white. But that's all part of the process. And I'll bring you back as I continue to go through making this liquid laundry soap. Okay guys, I am back again. It's been probably maybe 30-40 minutes, but I just want to let you see how the soap paste is coming along. As you can see earlier, it had some translucent on the top and some opaque under the translucent, but because it's been cooking for a good little while, maybe 30 minutes to an hour, as you can see, it's practically translucent all the way through. But that's not an indication that it's through, because you still will have to cook this for a while. I usually cook mine forever, because when I'm making liquid soap, I'm not doing anything. So I'll let this cook. And also, there's still a little liquid in the corners. You want all that liquid to cook through. Everything has been blended and mixed in properly, but you still want that to cook through. And I usually go through, and you can see it's hard. The pieces on the side are hard. I'll just scrape all that down later. But as you can see, it has become a little translucent. And as I'm stirring it around, it makes it white. But you want to make sure that it's translucent all the way through. So with that being said, I'm going to let it cook some more, and I'll bring you back at the next stage I deem important. Okay guys, I'm back. The soap paste is complete. Everything went well. All the liquid has cooked out of it, and I allowed it to cook for about 2 hours, which most of the time is not necessary. But because I'm cooking on this 2-burner and it's sometimes hard to control the heating source, I usually just cook it at a medium temperature. With that being said, it's about, I would say, 77 ounces of soap paste. So I'm going to do a 2.5 to 1. That means 2.5 times the amount of water to the soap paste to dilute it. And I don't know if you can see over here, that's my little kettle. That's a little water that's boiling in there. And in a minute, I'm going to add that to the soap paste to start diluting. I'm also going to add some borax. Borax works as a neutralizer. You can also use citric acid. But in this case, I'm going to use the borax. And if you guys don't know, this is what the borax looks like. It's a little powder. It's you can find it at any grocery store, box chain, Walmart, Target. And usually what I do is probably about, depending on the amount, this amount I probably use like 2 to 3 tablespoons of borax, and I'll add it to my boiling water, which the water is starting to boil now. My water is boiling, and I have this little scooper here that I'm going to use, and it has the measurements on each side. So I'll do 2 tablespoons of the borax. That's 1, and that slowed down the boiling. And what you want to do, if you want this to be absolutely positively hot enough to actually dissolve the borax. So I put 2 in that kettle of water, and I think that is about 50 ounces of water in there. I could very well go ahead and put I'm going to go ahead and put my third one, probably 2.5. I don't want to put too much in there. And that's that. And just to back up, I'm going to use the back end of this spoon just to make sure that this is stirred and dissolved. Whoa, I don't know if you guys saw that, but I'm next to this pot and I don't have my safety gear on, and it spewed up at me. So you want to be careful when making this soap, because it can damage you. So again, I'm going to move away from the water. I put the borax in. I'm going to let it boil a little bit more, and here it is, my soap paste. I'm just stirring it around. And if you were to let this sit overnight, it would get extremely hard, but right now it's like at a taffy state. So this is real good. The dilution may take long. It may not take that long. Sometimes it take overnight. It just depends on what temperature you have your pot set to. So that's at a taffy. I don't anticipate it taking no more than, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours to dissolve completely at a medium temperature, somewhere around 130 to 150, and that's of constant heat. And I didn't show you guys this, but how I test to see if my soap paste is ready. This is some soap paste that I put on this paper towel, and what I did is I have I use phenolphthalein, so I would put a dab of that on there, and if it still had free fatty acids in it, it would turn pink. But in this case, each section, I did 2 sections. I took some out of the pot and tried it on there, and then I stirred up the pot and I took some more out of a different area to make sure everything was completely cooked through. So that came out good. You never want to put this back into your soap paste after adding this phenolphthalein. Another thing you can do is just take a little bit of the soap paste. maybe about an ounce, and add 2 ounces of boiling water and dissolve the paste. If it comes through clear, you're good. If you have cloudiness, you need to cook it a little more. But I've made plenty of liquid soaps that I can tell when it's ready through trial and error and some hardship. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and add my boiling water. This is my first batch of boiling water, and I'll continue to do that until this dissolves. And again, like I said, this is about 50 ounces, and my borax has melted or dissolved in this. And you want to be careful, guys, because this water is absolutely positively hot. Okay, all right, now that's in there, and I want to show you guys something. I don't know if you can see the corner in there, how it's bubbling up. So it's really, really hot, and it foamed up a little bit. So that's basically it. I'll add the rest of my water, my liquid, in there to go ahead and get the dilution process started, and I'll bring you back at the end once I'm getting ready to bottle it and let you see how everything is dissolving. Okay, I'll bring you back. Okay guys, I am back, and I just want to show you the dilution. The soap paste is just about diluted. It's been diluting about, wow, maybe 4 hours, 5 hours, the most. And I still have a little bit in here, a couple of chunks. But by the time that I actually come back to it, which I'll probably just let that sit overnight, and as you can see, we still have a little bubbles. It's nice and clear, and it'll be even clearer once it cools off. But as you can see, it's not that much left in there as far as what needs to be dissolved. It's probably about this might be about 4 ounces, 5 ounces. It's not that much, and I'm pretty sure if I take the stick blender I can blend it up, but I'm in no hurry. And I started this morning about 11. It took 2 hours for the actual cook to complete. I did the phenolphthalein test to make sure that all the fatty oils were cooked out of it, no lye was left in it, and this is what we're left with. And it's a combination of canola oil and coconut oil, just those two there. And once it's cooled and completely diluted, I will bottle it up, and I'll let you see how clear it is once I bottle it up. And I don't use anything special, just some old bottles that I've kept, and I use that, and I use it for my my laundry bottles. But I'll bring you guys back once everything has already been diluted completely and I start to bottle it up. Okay guys, I am back, and it has been 24 hours. The whole process of the soap, liquid soap making, was about, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 hours. And that includes, well, the cook was 2 hours. Then it diluted, and I just let it cool overnight. And we do have a nice finished product. Everything is completely diluted. And what I'm going to do is show you what it looks like. And it's a pretty clear product. So what I typically do, this is one of the bottles that I use. It's just an old orange juice bottle that I cleaned out, and I use this as one of my bottles. I also have one of the traditional laundry containers that I had left over previously, and I fill those. But this is basically what I do. I have my container, I have a funnel, and I have my measuring cup. And one of the things that the measuring cup and the funnel allows me to do is scoop it out properly. And I just want you guys to see that. I want you to see how clear this is. This is what you want to see in a liquid soap. And depending on the oils you're using, but this is pretty clear. This is a pretty nice soap. And I just usually just pour it in my funnel. What you will find is that you'll produce a lot of bubbles while pouring the liquid soap into your container, which is fine. It'll come out. And this, I probably can get about, this container is, I think, 64 ounces. So I probably can get one full container of this, and then a full container of the other laundry, and then I probably can get some more in another container. But I'll let you guys, I'll show you what I have. I'm just going to pull this closer because it's dripping on the sides. But as you can see, some of the bubbles start coming out the top. Is no big deal, at least not for me. So usually with that, you can just flick those over and they'll eventually dissipate. But it doesn't matter if it runs over. I just want to fill it to the top as much as possible. Oops. Okay. That looks good. So this is what we have, guys. This is a pretty nice clear soap, and I'll continue to load up my containers, and I'll bring you back to show you just how much I got out of all this, out of the soap paste, which was about almost 4 pounds, a little over 4 pounds. Okay, everything has been bottled. So out of about 3 pounds, 4 pounds of soap paste, I got a little over 2 gallons worth of liquid soap. I did a 2-to-1 ratio as far as dilution. So that gave me, this bottle here is actually a little over a gallon. It's filled to the top, but that white part is bubbles. And then we have this reused orange juice bottle. I believe that's 64 ounces. And then we have this, and I think this is maybe a 2 or 3 pounds. Maybe I want to say 64 ounces. But all of this. And keep in mind, when you're using handmade liquid detergent, it doesn't require as much. It's not like what you buy in the store where it's thick and, you know, creamy. A lot of additives are added to that to make it that way. Natural liquid soap in its natural state, handmade, homemade state, is a little looser than what you're used to in the commercial. So this can be used as a multi-purpose cleaner. I use it as a laundry detergent. I also put it in my hand soap dispensers in my bathrooms, and I add a little essential oil or fragrance oils, and I also use it to wash my hands. It's been neutralized, so it's safe to use. And again, good luck with making your homemade liquid soap. Hopefully I have more videos to come showing how to make liquid soap again, a little bit better, a little bit more clarity. And with this, I only use 2 ingredients, and these are ingredients that you can have in your home. It was simply coconut oil and canola oil. That's all I use, coconut and canola oil. And you can make your own homemade liquid soap. Thank you for watching. Share, subscribe. Thank you.